Okay, so you've heard the reports from the 7 different working groups. Again, on the screen, you're seeing what the initiative, the Assess initiative is focusing on, what we're trying to achieve. And it's the multi-industry initiative to expand the use and benefit of software tools for analysis, simulation, and systems engineering in the engineering application domain. So before I hand control back to Brad, which he wants very dearly, I'm going to open the floor for any questions for any of the speakers or anything about Assess itself, and see if there's any questions, comments before we give Brad back control that he loves.
Okay.
What's the next step?
Go ahead, Jack.
Let's get a mic.
I'm simply wondering, when we're in an era now of concurrent engineering, so we've got marketing to manufacturing to product service, et cetera, all in the same room. Are you excluding that when you say in the engineering applications domain?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
What I'm including is it's including all of that activity on an engineered product or an engineered process. What we're not including is modeling and simulation of gaming systems, of war scenarios, of global weather, things of this nature that there's not an engineering process on. It's not that those aren't important and aren't valid, they're just outside of the domain of Assess,
Okay.
because this domain's already bigger than what we can manage.
Good. Thank you.
Evan?
My question is sort of broad. You've got this statement here, and I like that. The question is, from a big picture, how are you going to do this? Is this a communication issue? Or, I mean, it seems like the big picture here is communication.
Communication's a very big part of it, but we just had a meeting this morning with the Assess Initiative Advisory Committee, which is actually saying communication's wonderful, but we need to actually do actions as well. And so that we're in the process of saying, okay, now that we've got this wonderful vision, now that we understand the themes and the areas and the issues, how do we take actions on these? How do we organize actions? Part of that's awareness. Part of that's communication. Brad and I work very hard on the communication for Assess, and so do some of the other people. We work with several of the media, and it's actually working pretty well. We have an event, which will be every year. So we're working through that step, but we're also going to be presenting at the NAFEMS Congress coming up about the Assess activities. And we do have an Assess initiative outside of the events and communication. There's activity going on there, and right now we're having advisory committee meetings to say, okay, what do we do? How do we do this? How do we turn this into actionable items? We don't have definitive statements of saying this is what we're going to do absolutely next. We are in the process of determining that.
This is better. Yeah. There's some low-hanging fruit that we're going to go after. And we have people who have started to volunteer to plan out how we go after it. We are in the process of developing what our hairy, wild-eyed ideas might be for us to try and accomplish. We've also reached out across these other domains to interact with other government and academic groups to get their input so that we can learn from what they're doing, so we lose that disconnect. We are at the early stages of the organization, but there is significant willpower and a lot of, I would just say, massive energy behind this, and we're looking to find what impact can we have. How do we go about and have that impact along the line of this statement? And with that, I have a very important new slide that I'd like to bring up.